Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Farrah, and today I invite you to join me for a short, gentle somatic yoga practice to help you relieve tension in your low back. In addition to relieving tension, whether it be physical, mental, or emotional, we'll be using this practice to draw our awareness inside, to listen, allowing our bodies to become our teacher so that we can learn to heal and take care of ourselves, finding a happier and healthier well-being. So let's get started. I'm going to invite you to come onto your back with your knees bent. So we're going to start in constructive rest, also known as knock-knee pose. So we're going to bring our feet out wide towards the outside edges of our mat, and then allow the knees to come together and actually touch. So this is very important. We want the knees to touch, so adjust the feet as needed. This allows us to open up the SI joints where our spine meets our hips. So really good for breaking up congestion here in this area. And with the legs resting upon one another, they can also begin to release some of their muscular effort. And then allow your hands to rest either on your belly or maybe somewhere along your side, wherever it feels good to place them. And then I invite you to close your eyes if that's relaxing to you, or maybe just soften the gaze. And as you settle into this first asana or posture, I invite you to feel into the lumbar or lower part of your spine, feeling into that natural curvature. And without forcing anything, just a gentle invitation, allow the low back to begin melting down into the floor. Soften into the legs even more. And feel the support underneath your hips, the support underneath the length of your spine, the support underneath the back of your head. And then see if you can give even more of your weight to that support underneath you. For these first few moments, allowing yourself to ground, allowing yourself to land. And beginning to tune in to the breath, beginning to observe any and all sensations of your breath. And you might allow your breath to deepen a little bit. You might allow your breath to slow down a little bit. Gathering all of your awareness on the sensations within your breath. Moving down and out away from the thinking mind and down into the physical body. And without any judgment, without any preference, I invite you to just begin to notice, how does your low back feel in this moment? Is there any tension or discomfort? Is there any resistance? Is there any softness or relaxation happening in this posture? And let's take 3 more mindful breaths here, inviting the low back to soften even more. And then completely up to you if you'd like to keep the eyes closed. This can really help with internal focus. Or you might just soften the gaze, and sometimes you might need to look at the screen to watch what I'm doing. So from here, I'm going to invite you to either bring your arms out into a T with your palms facing up, or maybe you find a passive cactus bending into the elbows, whatever feels best for your shoulders. One variation is not better than the other. And then keep the feet wide and slowly begin to separate the knees apart. From here, let's lightly draw the navel down in towards the spine, finding just a little tone here in your abdomen. And then we're going to begin to sway the legs from side to side. So you are in complete control here. You find your own rhythm, your own degree of sensation by choosing how far to swing the legs side to side. And know that you are always in complete control throughout this practice. You are more than welcome to make any adjustments, to modify, to skip a certain pose, take a break when you need to, maybe choose an alternative posture or stretch and join in as it feels right to you. So please always listen to and honor your body, making this your practice. Everything I offer is only a suggestion. So just beginning to tune in and really observe how this movement feels in your lower body. We're beginning to loosen the lower spine, the abdomen, the hips, the legs, the knees. And this swaying motion can be also very soothing for the nervous system. So beginning to let go of the stress response and inviting in that relaxation response. So let's sway the legs one more time to each side. And then once you feel balanced, the knees will point back up towards the ceiling above you. Let's heel toe the feet back in towards the center of the mat. And then one leg at a time, we're going to draw the legs in towards the chest. So notice today if it feels good to have the legs really close together, slightly apart, maybe even hip width apart here. And then just relax the toes, the feet, the ankles. And observe how this stretch feels as we lengthen the lower spine. And then if they're not already, allow your hands to rest right on top of your knees. And now let's bring the legs together and begin to circle the knees, tracing around the base of your spine. So again, you're in control here. You find your own rhythm. Notice if it feels good to take small circles or big circles. Just a nice, lovely self-massage here. Letting tension go. Can you allow yourself to move with pleasure in mind? We want this to feel good and nurturing. Let's take one more circle in this direction. And then eventually we'll switch. So no hurry. Whenever you're ready, beginning to circle in the opposite direction now. And just continuing to observe how this feels. Curiosity only. And when the mind wanders too far away, too far ahead into the future, or back into your past, can you invite that tension back into the breath to keep you present? Let's take one last circle in this direction. Eventually the knees will come back in towards the chest, and we're going to lower the feet back down. Now once again, let's widen the feet towards the outside edges of the mat, and then even walk your feet slightly away from your hips, so they're further past your knees now. Arms right along your side, palms facing down, shoulders away from the ears. So once again, we're going to find a little tone in the abdomen. pulling the navel down in towards the spine, firming up the belly. And on the next inhale breath, go ahead and lift your hips up any amount. Notice what feels good without forcing or straining. And then exhale really slowly with control. We're going to lower the hips as we sway the hips just a little bit from side to side. And eventually the hips will come back down, soften into the belly, soften into the low back. Take a couple of breaths here in this resting position. So when you're ready, let's once again pull the navel down in towards the spine, firming up the belly. Inhale, begin to lift the hips up any amount. And on the exhale, with some control, slowly lower as you gently sway the hips side to side. Neurologically releasing movement and holding patterns. And eventually the hips come back to the center and rest. Soften into the belly, soften into the low back. Taking a couple of mindful breaths here. And we're going to do that one more time. Firm up the belly, draw the navel inward. Use an inhale breath to lift the hips up. Finding that comfortable edge, that balance between relaxation and exertion. And then slowly lower as you sway the hips from side to side. And eventually the hips lowering all the way back down, soften into the belly, soften into the low back. And now let's bring our legs and feet all the way together and tuck the heels back in towards the hips a little bit so your ankles are now underneath your knees. We'll take a spinal twist here, helping to relieve some tension and improve the mobility here in the lower spine. So let's now extend our arms out into a T, palms face up, arms are in line with your shoulders. Pick up your hips just a little bit and shift them off to the right side of the mat, lowering them back down. Now here we're going to let our knees fall to the left, but know that at any time if you would like just a little more sensation, option and just an option to cross the right leg over the left. So again, one variation is not better than the other. Just noticing what feels best in your body in this moment, trusting in those instincts. So on the next exhale breath, whether the legs are crossed or stacked, we're going to let them fall any amount to the left. Now you could always have a prop underneath your legs, a pillow, a blanket, a block if you needed some support here. Allow the shoulder blades to be heavy. And only if it feels good, maybe you even turn the head, pointing the nose towards the right hand. So continuing to feel whatever is present in the low back, allowing your body to speak through you, through sensation, to just allow yourself to simply listen. And we can hold a lot of past experiences and emotions in the lower spine. Some emotions that can be associated with the low back are guilt or shame or unworthiness. So again, just being curious to whatever may be present. And you might imagine breathing in relaxation and calm and breathing out anything that no longer serves. Let's take one more full round of breath here. And then we'll use the next inhale breath to slowly draw the nose, the heart, and the knees back towards center, uncrossing the legs if they're crossed, shifting the hips back to the center, taking a full round of breath here in that neutral spine. And then with the legs still together, let's pick up our hips and shift them off towards the left side, then dropping them back down. And again, your choice, keeping the legs stacked or maybe choosing to cross the legs. And on the next exhale breath, allowing your legs to fall to the right any amount. Only if it feels good on the neck, maybe turning the head to the left any amount. And letting the shoulder blades be heavy. noticing how this twist feels in the body. And maybe imagine with each breath in that you're breathing in relaxation and calm, and breathing out anything that no longer serves. Let's take one more full round of breath here. And then we'll use the next inhale to slowly guide the nose, the heart, the knees back to center. Uncross the legs if they're crossed. Shift the hips back to the center of the mat. Taking a breath here in that neutral spine. And then we'll end our practice coming back into that knock-knee posture known as constructive rest. So bringing the feet out wide towards the outside edges of your mat. Knees come back together, legs supporting each other up. Arms resting down along the side, or maybe hands resting on the belly. Again, soften into the low back. Invite it to draw downward, down towards the ground. And just taking a few more mindful breaths here. Just observing how you feel. Maybe observing any difference in the way you feel now compared to when you started this short practice. Thank yourself for showing up and taking this ever so important time for yourself. Feel free to stay here as long as you need. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you liked this video, please support me by hitting the like button and subscribe to my channel for more tips to relax your body and mind. You might also enjoy my free downloadable guide, 8 Tools and Practices to Ease Anxiety. I'm going to place a link below, and that free guide will also be available on my website at farrahfayoga.com. May there be peace above you, peace below you, peace all around you, peace to your mind, body, and spirit.